with a pair of NASCAR Xfinity Series drivers who put on a heck of a show here last year. Incredible finish. We have Elliott Sadler, driver of the number 1 Main Financial Chevrolet. And we have Brennan Poole, driver of the number 48 DC Solar Chevrolet. Elliott, winning this race last year in that finish. 2 of your 13 wins in the Xfinity Series have come here at Talladega. What is it about this place that really suits your driving style?
I don't know. I think I learned a lot here early in my career. I had a great teacher in Dale Jarrett that taught me a lot about strategy and drafting and who to draft with and all those things. And, you know, we were able to win 2 of the last 3 and should have won the other one as well. So we were in position to do it, I should say. And so, I mean, we're going to have another fast car again. We know this weekend the car I had at Daytona was the fastest car I probably had my entire life, and we got wrecked leading the race. So we fixed it up and brought it here, and we're going to try to go after it again. I mean, Talladega is definitely a different animal, especially now with the stage racing. But hopefully we can keep ourselves in position all day long and be in the right place at the right time and go after it when the time counts.
Brennan, so close here last year. How does that, what kind of confidence does that give you coming into this race this weekend to know you can take it over the hump?
I mean, I've had some really fast cars at the super speedways. We were really fast at Daytona both races last year, and we were really fast at the start of the year. This year ran inside the top 5 the whole race. So I got to have the same race car. We fixed it up also from Daytona. So I'm looking forward to seeing the kind of speed that we have in a race car for this weekend. But yeah, I feel like I learned some things last year here when I got to race with Joey and with Elliott. I was trying there at the end to get Elliott behind me on that restart, but I kind of got stuck because I chose the outside the restart before and ended up being second when the caution came out, so I didn't get to choose. But it's just a lot of fun racing here at Talladega, and it seems to be just something I've got a little bit of a good feel for, and so I'm excited about coming back here and racing again and have another shot at it.
Okay, we're going to open the floor up for questions. If you have a question for these gentlemen, please raise your hand. We'll get a wireless microphone to you. We'll start here with Kenny.
Kenny Bruce with NASCAR.com. Elliott, you talked about coming here with the stage racing now. Is it a different approach for stage racing for like Talladega and Daytona as opposed to a 1.5 mile or a short track? Do you have to look at those differently, and you're not approaching them the same way?
I think it's definitely a lot different, Daytona and Talladega, and the reason is I don't feel like every team can get a stage win at every track we go to, but I think every team has a better chance of getting a stage win here. I think it brings more teams into play. So when you get down towards, when we got to Daytona and we got down towards the end of the stages, I think more teams are in play to get those bonus points than what you have on like a 1.5 mile or like Richmond last week, because where 1 or 2 cars are kind of dominant here, you're all tied together. So one good move with the right push, you can go from 8th to leading in 2 laps. So I think definitely the strategy is a lot different here, and it brings a better opportunity to more cars across the board to get some bonus points here at Talladega, just like it was at Daytona.
Additional questions? Go to Bob here front.
Bob, what's the weather report today? Okay. I know you're up on it. That's
50 degrees. I don't know how.
Yeah, I understand. That's a good point.
So, Bob Pockers, ESPN. Elliott, I don't want to cost you any drafting partners on the Cup side, but I'm curious, what should those who are kind of outside the sport, or us here in the media, think when we see the penalty like we saw on the Cup side to Logano? Do we think like, well, they're cheating? Do we think that, well, everybody's pushing the rules and they just got caught? What should we think?
I mean, my opinion is, I don't want to say too much, but if you're not pushing the rules in either series, but especially the Cup Series, because there's so many smart people on each team, so everybody has the same access to the same data on what you're trying to do. If you're not pushing the rules and pushing the envelope, you're going to run 30th every week. And the competition is so close on the Cup side now. If you look at the times at Richmond or Texas or whatever, I mean, if you're a 10th off, you're not running for the lead, you're running 20th. So I think every team is really pushing the envelope to get the maximum speed out of their cars. And then sometimes you might go past the limit, and NASCAR looks at your car and finds something they don't like. But, I mean, you've seen other drivers' tweets this week. Skew is the magic word, guys. Skew is speed. The number one thing we know in our sport right now is if I can get more skew in my car than Bob, you can get in your car, I'm going to run faster than you. Period. There is no negative to getting skew in your car. So that being said, I just think teams are pushing the envelope, and if NASCAR catches you, then they should penalize you, and that's really all. I didn't read up on exactly what it was they found, but that's my opinion. That you got to push the envelope to the edge, or you're not even going to have a chance to compete.
Go to the back to Tucker.
Tucker White, SpeedwayMedia.com. Elliot, the late Barney Hall used to say that we don't race anywhere in the world like we do at Talladega, slightly paraphrased, of course. But given that we also do this style of racing at Daytona, what exactly makes racing here any different from, say, racing at Daytona?
To me, it's a big difference. It is restrictor plate racing, and we have the same way the bumpers and stuff line up. But Daytona, there's some handling characteristics involved. The turns are a lot tighter. The course is a lot more narrow. The tri-oval is more of a sharp corner. You have some handling characteristics where 2 wide is good, three wide is not real good at Daytona. We can run 3 and 4 wide around here all day long. The corners are a lot longer. It's a little bit more banked. The tri-oval is not as sharp as a turn. So handling is not a characteristic. So what that means is more people are in play. Brennan and I can be drafting here together at Talladega and be way more aggressive through the corners and through the tri-oval than we can at Daytona. And I think that's creates more 3-wide racing, more bump drafting, more side drafting, those kind of things. The biggest thing that hurt us in Daytona is, NASCAR took a bunch of downforce off our Xfinity cars. And a lot of these young guys didn't realize that, and they were running all into each other trying to bump draft at Daytona, and it picks your back wheels up off the ground. And we're going to see that again here this weekend till guys really figure out what's going on. But Talladega, to me, offers more opportunity to more people because there's no handling really involved at all through the corners. Everybody's car handles good here, so if you find a hole, you go.
Go next to Jessica.
Jessica Ruffin of NASCAR.com. This is for Brennan. This finished last year for you. I mean, you were just this close to getting the victory. Is there a bit of unfinished business coming in here this weekend?
Yeah, I definitely think so. Our guys have been calling it redemption weekend this week, but every race that we go to, we want to win. But last year this is where we were the closest. It seems like for whatever reason I can just finish third. I've got several thirds. I need to break the plane a little bit and get up to battle for some of these wins and lead some laps and just be a little bit more in contention. But I think this is a good place to come back and do it. We definitely have a lot of confidence coming into this weekend. But really even last week, these next string of races are really good tracks for me. Richmond, we were really fast and qualified really well, just didn't have the race go the way that we wanted it to. And then, this weekend obviously is a good opportunity for us. And then going to Charlotte, last year we ran in the top 5 both races and, had a parts failure that kept us from moving on in the playoffs. So, I'm excited about these next several weeks and feel like, we have just a good opportunity as anybody. It's like Elliot said, all the cars handle so good here that there's so many people that have an opportunity to win a race that really it could be anybody. So it's really about just putting yourself in that position to be able to make it happen. And I feel like we got a good team and a fast car where we can be up there and be in position to win tomorrow.
We're going to go to your back left to Kelly.
Kelly Crandall, Racer.com. Brendan, you just mentioned, the top 5s and the consistency. Is it a little bit surprising or frustrating at this point that you haven't been able to break through for a win?
Yeah, I definitely think towards the middle of last year, I think mentally I was getting frustrated because it had been a little bit easier for me and coming through the ranks to win. I've won in everything that I've sat down in to this point. So, definitely that was putting a little bit, probably too much pressure on myself to perform and just ended up causing me some probably more damage than it helped. But towards the end of last year, I kind of got in the right place mentally and felt like, any week I could go in and contend for a win. And I think you saw that as we started to get into the playoffs last year. I think we had 10 top 10s in a row, and we had 3 or 4 top 5s at the end of the season. So, I feel like, my team and myself are in a place where we're starting to have really fast cars every week, like we had last week at Richmond, where we're going to be able to start putting ourselves in position to win more often, and help me learn some of the things that I need to learn racing up front a little bit more, and eventually get us over that hump and get to victory lane. So I feel like everyone's doing a good job on this DC Solar team, and I feel like I'm ready to win now. So just have to go in each week and stay focused and do my job, and everybody on the team is doing theirs, and we'll be able to put ourselves in that place and in victory lane. So I'm excited. Like I said, these next string of races are really good tracks for me. I've been pretty successful at them in the past last year, so I'm just excited to go to the track each week and know I'm going to have a fast car and have an opportunity to win.
Okay, we're going to go to Reed, then to Kenny.
Reed Spencer with NASCAR Wire Service. For both you guys, does the position of the start-finish line here really make you have to hold back on that final lap before making a move? And is it harder to gauge where to make the move because it's an unusual place?
Well, I think last year, if the start-finish line would have been in the tri-oval, Joey probably would have won the race, and there might not have been a crash or any of that mess. And I think you see it quite often on the Cup side too. That extra distance just creates a little bit different finish. Guys can kind of set up a little bit differently and try to make make some moves and make some things happen and wait a little bit longer. But it's still all about timing. If the start finish line was in the tri-oval, maybe guys would do something a little bit different to time it a little bit differently. So but I do think it creates a little bit more excitement here than Daytona.
Some of it's kind of like they knew what they were doing, when they moved it there. They just to bring the travel more into play. I think it was a good move on the track's part to add that just much more excitement coming down to the start-finish line, definitely.
Go to the middle to Kenny.
Kenny Bruce for Elliott again. If I text Sadler Scoop, what kind of message am I going to get back from you?
You're going to get some cool messages, man, for your
what?
voicemail that you can play tricks on other people with. It's like I'm answering your phone, so you need to do that. I think that's good for you. And I tried to speak as clearly as I could so you can understand what I'm saying. Yeah, it's a one-main deal, yeah.
Good deal. We'll start your texting, everybody. And, gentlemen, have a great race out there this weekend.
Thanks,
Take care.
guys.
Thanks.